Backsliding is quite a serious error for anybody who has served God in the past. In part 1, we have seen that it is like somebody looking after you very well, and instead of being grateful to them, you abandon them. It is like somebody blessing you, then you use his blessings to serve his enemy. That's what backsliding is all about. And God is saying, I will abandon you, I will expose you, and your worship I will not take cognizance of. Your new moons, like the Jews had several celebrations, and God is saying it will not mean anything, and I will not bother with it at all. So, we need to understand very clearly that you cannot use the blessings of God, the health He has given you, without consequences. Let's look at verse 16, verse 14, to see what God is saying. He is saying, therefore, I'm going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. What a change. God is saying, although He wants to punish you, His love is still with you. Even in the punishment, His love is still with you. After punishing you, which He has promised in verse 13, God's love will still be shown to you. Now He has shown you that you are clear what you are doing is wrong. You now know He knows you are backsliding. But then He starts showing you love. I will allure her. I will attract her back to me. I think that's a fantastic thing. Therefore now, I'm now going to allure her. I will lead her. This God who never gives up on us, which is the message of the book of Hosea. And then verse 15 is saying, I will give her back her vineyard, and will make the valley of Acre a door of hope. And she will respond as in the days of her youth, and the day she came out of Egypt. In other words, He is a God who heals our backsliding. He shows love to somebody who doesn't love Him, that's God, and who lures the person and brings them back to where they start enjoying the good things that they used to enjoy in their youth when they served God. In that day, verse 16, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband. You will no longer call me my master. There will be real friendship with God. He is Lord and King, King of kings, Lord of lords. But you will realize that God is your friend. You will not be thinking of Him as a master. You will think of Him as a friend. This is the God of the second chance. I will remove the names of the vows from your lips, from her lips. No longer will their names be invoked. In that day, I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, the birds of the sky, and the creatures that have moved along the ground, bow and sword, and battle. I will abolish from the land so that all may lie down in safety. He really is talking about how He is going to love them and show them that it will be like the second half of the life after you have come back from backsliding. Will show like God has totally forgotten your evil and the things you have actually done wrong. God never gives up on any of us. Hence, even in our backsliding, He will look for ways to show Himself strong on our behalf. He would like the backsliding to end, then He can show His love for you, and He can lead you. You know, I'll remove the names of vows from your lips. You come back talking such language of worship and praise to God. Nobody will ever imagine you are that backslidden, immoral prostitute that you are when you left God who was betrothed to you, who wanted, who loved you. And you make a covenant with God that He will protect you. So whether it is the animals of the field, the beasts, the birds of the air, the creatures, God will protect you from against them. And you know what will happen is that there will be peace around you when you have come back to the Lord. Bow and sword and battle are abolished from the land, so that all may lie down in safety. So Israel is being promised that if he comes back, there will be peace. You're also being promised that if you actually come back, there will be no fighting. He will give you peace. I think it's Philippians that calls it peace beyond understanding. You can rest in peace if you have chosen to walk with the Lord. You will dwell, verse 18 is saying, so that all may lie down in safety. Those are people who have come back to God. He is promising to give them safety. Verse 19 is saying, I'll betroth you to me forever. I'll betroth you in righteousness and justice, in love and compassion. I'll betroth you in faithfulness, and you'll acknowledge the Lord. In other words, once you come back to the Lord, He is promising that He is going to engage you like somebody you want to marry. And He is going to do so that you'll be involved in righteousness and justice. You'll be the kind of person who does only what is right, and you'll be a person who is fair and just in your dealings with God and in your dealings with man. And you'll sense and experience the love and compassion of God around you. Once you are back to God, that's really what He is promising you. I'll betroth you in faithfulness, and you acknowledge the Lord. In other words, in faithfulness means you can trust God. He's going to keep His word. And then you, in return, will acknowledge to everyone that the reason I'm who I am, the reason I'm enjoying this peace, is because of the Lord. I will acknowledge the Lord, what He has done. I want to ask you, is that what you're experiencing? Righteousness, justice, love, compassion, faithfulness. If that is the thing, then you need to answer the second question. Are you acknowledging this has come from the Lord? Do acknowledge. You can't say you are not, you have come back to the Lord from your backsliding if you don't acknowledge. In other words, to acknowledge is to own up. Let people know that you have actually come back from the evil ways, and that God is the one who has actually helped you, and that even the good thing people are seeing, and it's not that you are it is that Christ has brought the goodness. That's what it means when you experience those things, then He expects you to acknowledge the Lord, to admit that the Lord is the one who has actually done. And there are many people, even among Christians, who want to receive praise. So when they are doing very well, one promotion after the other, the implication they give to people is, you see, I'm hardworking, very hardworking. Yet the truth is you have prayed. It is true you have worked hard, but there are many others who have worked hard and haven't had such many promotions. Do you acknowledge the hand of the Lord? You also know yourself, you know how evil you have been, and that God should have destroyed you. But He has actually forgiven you and given you a new lease of life. Do you acknowledge that? Do you tell people the truth about how evil you are as a person and how forgiving God is, and why you are living this new lease of life that honors God? Do you show that kind of thing? God is saying that you need to acknowledge the Lord. Verse 21 is saying, in that day, I will respond, declares the Lord. I will respond to the skies, and will respond to the earth. And the earth will respond to the grain, and the new wine, and the olive oil, and will respond to Jezreel. I will plant her for myself in the land. I will show my love to the one I called not my loved one. I will say to those called not my people, you are my people, and they will say, you are my God. What is He saying? that once you are back to God, then you can rest assured your prayers will be heard. You know, you have been praying and the sky sounded like they were bronze. Nothing could happen. No rain came. No blessings were upon you. Your work, the work of your hands, was simply wasting your time. But now, after you are back in Him, He's promising to hear your prayers. The Israelis were most of them were farmers. So rain was critical. And God is promising, yes, I will hear you and let the rain come down on you. And then verse 22 is saying, and the earth will respond to the grain. Once I have caused the rain, what will happen? The grain will grow now that there is rain. Once the grain grows, what will happen? It will be possible now to be able to make drinks, new wine, and to also get oil, new oil. And finally, all that will be bringing the celebration of the town of Jezreel. So can you see? Once you have come back to God, there will be blessings. The blessings will lead to more blessings, and blessings will lead to more blessings. Once it rains, the grain will grow. Once the grain grows, there will be oil and wine, new wine. And once that's available, Jezreel will be a happy place. And I think that will be the very, 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 very important thing. You know, this term Jezreel means God plants. The town planted by God. And that will be something that you need to ask yourself, is that what you are experiencing? The earth will respond. Why? Because God has heard your prayers. Verse 23, I will plant her for myself in the land. In other words, God Himself will who makes things happen in your life. It's like Israel has been planted by God, and the promise of Israel is our promise that will be planted in the land. And then God will show love to someone who earlier He meant to destroy. And even said, not my loved one. Now He says, you are my loved one. Things have actually changed. It doesn't matter how rotten your past has been. It doesn't matter how backslidden you are. Now He is saying, you are now loved. That's a forgiving God we have. And then He will say to those, He is going to say to people, He says, these are not my people. He will say, they are now my people. And I think that will be important. And then finally, what will happen? When you experience God's love, you experience His acceptance, that you know He has accepted you despite your past. Then, back to the same acknowledgement. You acknowledge that God is my God. And I think that's a very, very important thing. If you really have come back to God, God keeps emphasizing the importance of acknowledging that He is your God and that He is in control of you. You are now my God. You will say that Jehovah is your God, that Jehovah is the one who is doing the things He's doing, that Jehovah should receive the glory. And that He says, and when I'm lifted up, I'll draw all men to myself. So what will happen is that because now the blessings are visible, then you have pointed out that those blessings come from your relationship with God. This will attract others to want to belong to your Lord, rather than your backslidden state that made the name of the Lord be put into disrepute. Now you are going to be assured of God's blessings. That's why you let people know Jehovah is now my God. Of course, once you say that, people expect you to walk in righteousness and justice, the things that are listed there. My hope is that that will be true of all of us who claim to be Christians, that we are going to walk in justice, in righteousness, in faithfulness, so people can trust what we say, and will experience God's love and compassion. And it will be clear to those outside that we are enjoying walking with the Lord, so they also can be attracted to know Him and to want to worship Him and praise Him. This God who never gives up on us.